Yo, what up, world? It's your boy C's from the CZLife.com. Welcome back to the people's favorite channel on the internet. Continuing this interview series, I got a special guest, my man Tim Glowik. We first started our fitness coaching journey together at Equinox in Soho. So I'm eager to learn some. Like these are questions I really didn't get to ask, but now that we've like grown and evolved, this is the perfect time to reach out and have these conversations, right? And again, success leaves clues. So the more of these conversations we can have, hopefully archive and the new generation comes, pick it up and take the ball and keep on running, right? So without any further ado, let me welcome my man, Tim.
Hi.
What's up? All right. So
Nothing.
there's no applause yet. I gotta work on that. As the show evolves, we're gonna get the hot keys going. But conversation is more important than the audience. So hopefully the audience can get something of value out of this conversation. So
Yeah.
before we get started, introduce yourself. Let the people know who you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
Sure. I'm Tim Glowik. I go under Fractal Fitness Trainer on Instagram. So if people want to check out kind of like a more in-depth idea of how I approach training with physical visual representations, that's probably the best way to find me. I've been training since we met actually back at Soho. That was, I had done a little like individual independent training before that, but really where I kind of started my journey was at that Soho location with Equinox. Right now, I have a pretty deep focus on integration, pre and post ceremony integration with plant medicine. So people are going to drink ayahuasca or do like a ceremonial mushroom session. I'll do workouts with them before to help unlock patterns so they can have a safer journey. And then after, how to integrate whatever they felt. And then I also do a lot of somatic experience training, which is a form of therapy. I've been certified, but I'm not a licensed therapist. So certification, but no licensing. So I just use it as kind of an add-on to help people get to the next level of their training. So what we do is focus more on healing trauma within the body, both physical and emotional, and try and get rid of that to reduce blockages and take away pain and things like that. So that's a little bit of where I'm at
Yeah,
now, which is so different
that
than
is
where
so
I
awesome.
started.
Like Tim has one of the most underrated Instagrams out there in terms
Thanks.
of athletic development. Like I see some of your stuff, Tim, and I'm like, yo, every athlete need to incorporate this form of training. It's like
Yeah.
it's anyway. I would save it. Like I would let people go and do the research for themselves. I'm going to be sure to
Sure.
link your page down in the description.
Oh,
But
thanks.
man, your evolution in terms of like athletic training and now your plant medicine training, it's
Yeah.
I've been admiring it from afar, from a distance. But it's
Uh,
like it's up there, man. Like if people really understood, hence why I have you on. Hence why I have you on the channel, on the show, to like highlight what it is that you do. So getting into it, tell me a story about when you knew you wanted to become a fitness professional.
that's such a great question because it actually made me think like where was that first time? And I think it's like ever since childhood. I always played sports. Everything from like skateboarding to baseball to basketball to skiing to golf, like whatever. I played it. So there's always been that draw. Um, I just didn't like. I didn't want to be a gym teacher, even though all my college friends were like, "You're going to be a gym teacher someday." And this is me being in school for art. Like I'm a painting major, and they're like, "No, you're going to be a gym teacher." I'm like, what they were really getting at is like, I'm going to do this job. Um,
Hmm.
so I guess it really started back then. But when I was in New York, I had also been doing a lot of. I had a job where I was doing coding and also setting up these conferences. like running these big virtual conferences. And I was just like, I can't sit on the phone in front of a computer with no windows in this office doing this all day. I just can't do it. So I left that to be like, I need to do something with movement. So I became a dog walker for a few years, just like, screw it. I'll just enjoy my time with animals and be
Yeah,
outside. And I was like, this is close, but this isn't
but it's
exactly
still
it.
not it. Yeah.
Yeah. So then I started at Equinox and like got hired around the same time as you. And it's just like, yeah, this is it. I don't know how this is it. And I don't know what this is going to look like, but this is the thing. Like I'm on my feet and I'm also dealing with people and interacting with people on a really intimate level. Like we do really intimate work with people, even if we're just telling them to jump on this box. There's something about that that's still pretty
Uh-huh.
intimate. So,
Yeah.
so that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
pretty much
dope, man. Like, and yo, not to mention you're like a really great basketball player too. So
it.
I
So are
get
you. I wish we kept playing. I wish we played
I
more.
know, I
God.
know. Like eventually I want to, yeah, I got some goals, I got some visions, but like, yeah, I remember the times we were playing in those leagues that we that
Yeah.
Equinox formed. It was really
Yeah.
a really fun time, man. It
Yeah.
surprised me, but like your training at the end of the day, like you have the capacity to like create super athletes. And I want people to
That's
know,
the hope.
like, man, this
Yeah.
dude right here knows his shit. And yo, man, like train with him. If you want to be bigger, stronger, faster, and explosive, train with my man Tim. All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
um
Thank you. It's too much. I can't
hey,
handle it.
I know.
I can't take
So
compliments.
I know, look at you blushing.
Seriously, like
Anyway.
read it like a tomato.
um so tell the viewers like a piece of advice that you wish you got 10 years ago.
Oh man. Okay, so like this is going to be maybe like a multifaceted piece of advice. So it's going to be both personal and as well as like hopefully can expand out. So for me, I would say do somatic work and do plant medicine work, and know that those are actually valuable things, and that eventually health and wellness and fitness will catch up with those. Because like I couldn't really talk about it at Equinox, like
Mhm.
it's now only becoming legal and it's now only becoming accessible for people to travel to other countries to do stuff like that, specifically with plant medicine work. And it's now only coming out that people can get certifications in somatic experiencing. So like I was kind of doing all of this work on my own when it was available to me. And obviously like I couldn't really do any like plant medicine ceremonies with people, but I could walk them through the before and after process and how to heal their body. And for me, it's been great for personal development. I don't think
Mhm.
I would be where I'm at without doing that kind of work, because therapy never worked for me. But
Mhm.
this has worked for me really, really well. And I don't think I could move as well because I'm 45. And like, there's no way I can move as well as I'm moving if I didn't do this work. Because
Mhm.
I can
Yeah.
feel where those points are stuck, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
there's a lot of ballistic work I see on your page, and there was
It's like
one like
90%.
core. Yeah, there was like this one core exercise, and I'm like, man, I already know, like that would just light you anyone up.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
like, yo, this dude makes it looks easy. It's
Yeah.
just, which
And
is
I credit
it's
it to like
crazy.
the somatic work, to be honest. Like I credit it for like me doing like the healing work of like a therapy environment that's body based to be able to do that stuff. If I didn't do it, I don't like, I think I would be in more pain because I have a lot of injuries. I mean, you play sports for
Yeah.
years, broken
Hmm.
ankles, separated shoulder, broken wrist, like everything,
Everything.
broken fingers. I mean, you can see this finger is jacked up. Like that doesn't work. Doesn't hurt though, because I've done all
No,
this work that has helped take away that pain. Not dissociate from it, but just like calm down the signals.
yeah. What about some of the biggest challenges that you had over the course of your career?
It's been like understanding that like my path didn't have a place yet in health and wellness. Like again, it still ties back into that, um, but just persevere. Just knowing that eventually, like I will either find a niche that I can work with clients, or the industry will grow to support that kind of understanding of healing and athleticism as being completely intertwined and linked. So my challenge has always been managers.
Manager.
They've been
Yeah.
good and they've done the best they can, but they didn't, like, this wasn't, they saw the money first. Totally understandable. That's their job.
Mm-hmm.
Before the clients. And I saw the
Yeah.
client first before the money.
Yes.
That
That's
doesn't
a
work well in a
big,
gym.
yeah. It doesn't work well in corporate structure or in the gym. But at the end of the day, you know, your client is more like a relationship. You know, I want
Yes.
like more of a relationship with my clients as opposed to trying to stuff and pad the numbers, right? Because stuff and padding the numbers, you don't get that same quality of care. You don't get the same quality of client. And basically, you suffer, the client suffer. The only person that wins is the gym, right? For just that little brief moment till the next month and the next month after that, right? So
You're
definitely
100%
understand.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
you nailed it. You just said exactly it. That's perfect. And I think people need to understand that, but like there's going to be that push and pull if you're in a gym. So
Yeah. So what about your biggest wins?
I think one of my favorite memories, and hopefully my client has this too. He said it, so I mean, yeah, hopefully. I still never believed like people really. Yeah, I don't know. It's the compliment thing. So I
Yeah.
had a client who he got hit by a car running, or not a car. I guess it was like one of the like park services. Like they have
Hmm.
like almost like golf carts, but they're souped up. Like they can go pretty fast. He got hit
Yeah.
with one of those running on the West Side Highway, where in like the separated run lanes, they just
Hmm.
ran him over in the morning. So he broke his ankle, broke his hip, broke his wrist.
Wow.
So I got him, and he was in a wheelchair. And he's like, my doctor said I'll never run again. And he's like, what I really want to do is run a marathon. And I was like, well, what's your goal? Like, when would you want to run a marathon again? He's like, well, there's another one coming up in like 6 to 8 months. He's like, that's kind of the zone. I was like, well, let's try. Let's try. So I got him working with his PT. I got him out of the wheelchair and back to running. So he was able to actually
Wow.
run the race. Yeah. So like it's really just using all the techniques that I had learned from like somatic experiencing and therapy, as well as athletic training and physical therapy stuff. So like that to me just is, it's like if he can do it, anyone can do it. Because he's also 78 at the time. So like you're
Wow.
thinking like, dude, like shouldn't really run a marathon, but he's convinced he
Wow.
should. So
Wow.
he really, I guess he should. He convinced he could. He did it. So
Hmm.
good for him. Like,
Man, that is epic, man. If that's a big testimony too to the coaching, the patients, and also the client. Mostly the client, like the fact that
yeah,
like try
his
is like
buy-in.
not in any, yeah, try is like so hard for people to do. It's like a hard concept for people to
Yeah,
wrap their minds around. But just
yeah,
the very few that do try something and be consistent with it, their
yeah.
goals, man. There's nothing stopping them.
I think you're right about that. Like, yeah, there's like the effort and the buy-in that he had, but also his own like belief that, well, if this person's willing to spend 3 hours a week with me, I'm gonna put everything into it. And
Hmm.
he did. Like there were moments where he was scared. So we did some tricks, which I think is really interesting. We had talked about like what he liked, and he really loved playing basketball growing up. So I started him just bouncing a ball in the wheelchair just for fun. And then we
Hmm.
got up, and when he was walking with a pretty serious limp once he was able to walk. And I was just like, I think I can trick him into moving better. So we just had him dribble a ball and walk, and I was like, you need to do like some like crossovers and things like that. And he immediately changed his gait. It was like back to being a kid again. All that pain signal was gone, and now he was moving like a normal human again. And I like took a video of him. I was like, see how you're moving now? You can move this way all the time. And he's like, that is shocking. That is shocking. So
Yeah.
we just like built it up, but it was him buying in. He saw that and said, I can do this. And then just it was like off to the races. Literally, he was off to the races.
That's dope, man. 78, that's impressive.
Yeah,
So for
yeah,
the there's people all over the world, right? All over this country who
yeah,
like were in your shoes 10, 15 years ago, like
yeah,
doing the coding jobs. And one thing about the pandemic, what that did was like, man, I really don't want to be doing, I want to be outside. I want to be meeting people and whatnot, right?
yeah.
And they're normally like going into, they fall in love with the gateway drug, which is fitness. And then they're like, man,
Yes.
I can do this full time and make a career out of it, right? So
Yeah.
to those people who are just starting out, those trainers who are coaches just starting out, based on your experiences, right? Like, what is a piece of advice or something that they should be doing right now?
I would say find your reason for wanting to train people. Like, number one, know that that's it, and use that as your base. So like, if you're like, I just love athletic training, use that as your base and then expand out from there. You can always come back to that, but then learn as many other things that your clients want and need as possible. So if your client says like, hey, like my mobility isn't great and I really want to get something for that, like learn FRC, just, like take a course in it, but always come back to athletics because that's going to keep you passionate about what you're doing. So know your goal, expand your education out.
Perfect. Nice. So Tim, what's the next level for you?
I'm going to keep going with this somatic training. And it's funny because a friend who he runs this podcast called Psychedelics Today, uh, he and I both had an experience where we had like an image of doing like workshops together. So I'm gonna like see if he still wants to do that because I think
Mm-hmm.
we could set up a workshop where he does breath work and somatic training. We might be able to set up workshops, and this would be like the ultimate goal, where we go to like Costa Rica. I train people to move better. They drink ayahuasca. He does breath work with them. He does somatic experience, and I facilitate as like a second person to watch over people and make sure everyone's doing all right. And then we do integration work with movement again. Like that, I think is the next step, is to do these like retreat center workshops. And then
Mm-hmm.
I want to train people for free. Like I want to train other trainers how to use somatic experiencing because I think every trainer should have an idea on how to do it, just to have a trauma informed approach to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just
Yeah.
going to, as soon as like I mean, I've already started doing it as soon as I feel comfortable, I guess. I was going to say as soon as I'm settled, once I get back to New York, it's going to be on because I'm in Honolulu. I split my time right now between Honolulu and
That's
Brooklyn.
dope, man. That's
Yeah,
a dope. Yeah, that is dope. I see them beach videos.
yeah,
So those
yeah.
who are interested in trauma coaching or looking
Mhm.
to learn, like, how can they get in contact with you?
So the best way to do it is through Instagram. And I'm sorry, like if I miss your DM, it's because it's in my like I don't know you yet
Hmm.
bin, and like
Yeah.
I'll get to it. It's just I
Hmm.
didn't see it. It has nothing to
Yeah.
do with like my desire to talk to a person. It literally has to do with I didn't see it. So yeah, just people reach out to me a lot on there, and then I work with them through that. And yeah, if anyone wants to chat about trauma informed or somatic experiencing or plant medicine based movement practices, I'm 100% into that. Like I think it's going to be the next wave. Like everything
Nice.
from like, it's going to be like from marijuana sessions all the way up to like the big ones like Ibogaine, where it's like very difficult ceremonies. There's going to be a need for trainers to understand that process.
Hmm.
There's a need for trainers to understand the therapeutic processes. Like I work with therapists as well. Like a therapist will call me, send me a client, I'll do some work, send it back. Same with PTs. So we should be open to branching out to all of those and reaching out to all those other people in different fields. So I can help people with that process as well. Because the conversation with the therapist is awkward sometimes because they're like, I don't know how movement's going to help this. And it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
here's the data, here's the literature. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I can help them with those conversations as well.
That's dope, man. Well, Tim, I'm going to leave all of your contact information, your Instagram page down in the
Thank you.
description. Thank you so much for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, or whoever this video happens to find. Yeah, and get in touch with Tim. Trust me, follow him on Instagram. Like, this is a trainer that you need to know. Okay. All right. So without any further ado, thank you guys once again for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comment box, and I'll holler on the next one. Peace.